Welcome to Spill the Tea with Mrs. P. Hope you're all okay. Right, I'm starting on a controversial one this morning because it's about guns. Okay, now, I'm not a fan of guns. I don't like them. I don't see the need in them, especially in the home. Now, obviously, the laws are very different to America and the UK, but I just read stories of children that have got hold of them and accidentally shot friends and relatives because they thought it was a toy, or they didn't know they were loaded, or they didn't know the safety catch. I don't know the technical term, sorry, was on. You hear about guns getting into the wrong hands of people with mental health issues, people that are just plain wrong and bad. And I just think if they were not so accessible in the home, would we hear so many tragedies? And that I don't like them. So that's just my opinion. Each to their own. I don't like them. But I read an article, and it was about a guy who was convicted of manslaughter for shooting and killing someone that had broken into his home. Okay, so this guy was in bed with his wife, his children were in their beds, and he was disturbed by someone that had broken in. And he shot and killed them. And he was convicted of manslaughter. Now, a lot of things went through my mind when I read this, but the first thing was, he's been convicted of protecting his family. That's what he's done. And some people, like, I've had discussions with people, and they said, but they don't know if he was there to hurt them. He wasn't fucking invited. No one had said to him, please come into our home in the middle of the night. He wasn't meant to be there. Are you meant to say to the burglar, who you don't know what weapons they have on them, what are your intentions? Do you know what I mean? So, whilst I don't like guns, I can see why this guy shot him. I'm a mama bear, okay? I will do anything for my children. I would lay down and die for them. I would lay someone else down for my children. And if I woke up in the middle of the night and I knew that there was someone in my home that shouldn't be there, that's on them. That ain't on me. And that's how I feel. But I am a parent and fiercely protective. But I do wonder what the outcome would have been had this guy not had a gun in his hand. Because bear in mind, those children now don't have they do have a father, but they go and visit their father in prison now. For the rest, I think he got a life sentence. But like 15 years, he'll do 15 years. So those kids are going to grow up without their daddy with them, which I know would break, it'd break anyone's heart. But I thought, if he hadn't had a gun in the house that night, how could he have protected his home? What would he have done differently? If he hadn't automatically gone, there's someone in my home, gun. Because I couldn't do that, because I don't have one. And I just thought, if they weren't so accessible, he wouldn't be probably in prison now. I mean, he might be. He might have stabbed the fella to death. He might have choked him. Do you know what I mean? He may have still ended up killing the guy. But I just thought, because that one moment has changed his life forever. Because even if once he's out of prison, he's back with his family, he's always got to say to employers and mortgage brokers and whoever, yeah, I've got a criminal conviction for manslaughter. And they're not going to go, oh, right, well, let me know what happened and I'll decide how bad it was. They're just going to go, well, he's been in prison for 15 years for manslaughter. So his life in that moment has changed forever. But I mean, the key thing to me, I thought, well, his wife and his children are safe. And that's clearly was his priority, which I completely get. I mean, that guy could have been in there to sexually abuse them. He could have been in there to kidnap them. He might have been trying to get the children. You hear about these gangs that are out for stealing children. It could have been a very, very different story, for better and for worse. Like, those kids, yes, they do have to grow up without their daddy in the home, but he's still there. They can still see him, they can still speak to him. They've not got mental scars of being sexually abused, if that's what the guy had gone in to do. They've not been sold into a child prostitution gang. And I know you're probably going, Mrs. P, give it, seriously, the extremes. But these things do happen. So I suppose to myself, my initial thought was, oh my God, this guy's been convicted of protecting his family. Who wouldn't do that? And if I was on that jury, I think I would find it very hard to convict him. But I suppose you have to look at the cold, harsh facts of it, don't you? Which is, I think, as a mama, you'd find, or any parent, you'd find very hard to do. But I just thought, my other thought was, if he hadn't have had a gun in his house, would he have found a different way to protect himself? Because I always run through scenarios where sometimes Mr. P's working away and stuff, and I run through scenarios of, God, if someone broke in, what would I do? How would I protect my family? It's just me. I think, obviously you don't know until the time comes, but if you haven't got that gun in your house, you can't shoot them. That's the bottom line of it, isn't it? Would he have found a different way to protect his family where the burglar would have lived and would be in prison? But then would he have gone to prison? He broke into a home. If he'd have been arrested, he might not have gone to prison. He might have got tagged or a community order or something, and you think, well, he's just out to do it again. Is society better without him? Just throwing it out there for you to think about. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love for you to comment, to hear your thoughts of, it boggles them. Like I've said, I think my initial thoughts, to put them straight, he shouldn't have had a gun. His life could be very different now if he didn't have a gun. But then if the burglar had had a gun, this guy might be alive now and his wife and children might be dead. You don't know, do you? There's so many scenarios, and but my initial thought was, he's been convicted of protecting his family. He's been convicted of keeping his family safe. And that, to me, is what is wild. Yes, possibly he shouldn't have done it. Yes, possibly there were other options. But he was protecting his family. And surely the bottom line is, the guy that broke in shouldn't have been there. Had he not been there, no guns would have been needed to be used. There we go. I could keep going and going and going because my thought just, there's so many different things that you think about with it. But drop me your comments. Let me know what you think, okay? Because I'd be fascinated to hear your thoughts and your comments. Feel free to have comments on any aspect of it, and I can always get back to you and we can have a little chat. That's what it's all about. All right, guys. Take care and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.